Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another Monday night here at Proficiency Bonus as we continue on our journeys here at We Met in a Tavern. Before we jump over to our players, a couple of quick shoutouts. Big thanks to Many Sided Dice, Team MZ, OBS Streamlabs, and our... I gotta find a better way to introduce them, but Little Dragon Corp. You know them, we love them. If you haven't checked them out yet, definitely you can find some dice. Many of us have been showing off stuff. I know Charner from Dirty 20 got some dice from them and got a dice tray with them. So definitely check them out. Don't forget to use the discount code PROBONUS, 10% off your order. Basically, it covers the cost of your shipping wherever you're shipping to. So definitely check them out. They got a lot of really cool stuff in there. Now, with that being said, I just realized that my cameras are all jacked up. So we're going to bring us over to the party here. And then realize that Streamlabs has done me dirty. So,
yeah.
I love your Streamlabs, but no, not so much at the moment.
Oh. Well, not too bad.
Yeah,
Not too bad.
Just cutting people's heads off. Well, bear with me a moment there. To which I apologize. I should have remembered to check this first, but lo and behold, if wishes were fishes.
I decided, Matthew, on your barrel roll next to the counter, you should have a pelican, because it's from the flying pelican.
You would not believe how difficult it is to actually make a 3D pelican for someone who has no
I
sculpting
would
ability.
imagine, actually.
Okay, so do me a favor, somebody can remember 815 and 95.
Maybe. You can just all click and move the actual window to make it smaller.
Yep, the problem is I don't have to make it smaller. I have to change the crop.
Yeah, no, that's how you crop, I mean. Alt, and then
Oh.
hold down and then you can click on the edge of the window and make it smaller. Crop it.
Weird, I never realized that.
Yeah, that's Stumpy saved me with that. Thanks, Stumpy.
Yes, we love you, Stumpy. Wherever you are out there. If you're not watching, then shoe on you.
Oh. So much for the love.
If you are watching, we love you.
Oh, there we go.
Guest appear someday.
Conditional.
Love to have you. Yes, very conditional. Okay, so with that, sorry for the technical difficulties. We'll jump right into last time. Our party had made their way north around the small island of Amarune, planning on disembarking and heading back towards the interior of the island to see what was going on, what Lord Tamford had headed north to discern. They ended up finding their way into basically what appeared to be a until recently sealed location. As they're poking around, they found a rather resplendent library. Just shelves upon shelves of books. Artemis, only partially losing their mind, proceeded to charge in and started flipping through them to find out that they all appear to be ledgers referencing hunts. As they continued to poke through, they found a room, at first apparently empty, but as Artemis walking through it felt a strange, almost like walking through like a mister, just like moisture, like cobwebs over the face. Proceeded to see a myriad of things: a Yanti, a dryad, a copper dragon, a centaur, a drider, a small cat protruding out of the wall, a lizard creature. And as the rest of the party didn't notice this, I believe it was Snowmoon walking towards Art, proceeded to trip and faceplant onto something as he realized he was floating about 6 or 8 inches off the ground, but could feel something hard underneath him. The party proceeded to leave and come back into the room a couple of times, eventually all of them getting hit with this sort of sensation and realizing something was changing their vision, the way they saw things within this room. And they all proceeded to see the trophies, all covered with what appeared to be almost like a fine layer of resin or lacquer. I mean, the creatures looked real enough that they could jump out and you expected the dragon to be spitting flames at you. But completely immobile. Eventually, making their way around a couple of rings, Snowmoon found himself falling into a pit, and a rather large gelatinous green cube proceeding to fall on top of him. Snowmoon did manage to crawl his way out through the entity, taking a little bit of damage as those digestive juices started going to work on him, but was able to crawl out, and without the creature being able to crawl back out of the pit, it seems to be forgotten laying in its hallway. Party made their way through, and during this, some of the group started shouting as Art and some of the others were still in this, looked to be almost like jail cell security room type area. As people started shouting, saying Snowmoon has fallen and something was attacking him, they alerted the people in the hidden chamber. As everyone left Artemis alone, still in this room, Artemis hears the sound of stone on stone grinding as a hidden doorway slides open, and a woman with black feathers in her hair comes rushing out past Artemis. A couple of seconds later, the Lord of Tamport comes charging out with a large bundle of something wrapped in his arms. Artemis wrestles him to the ground, rips the belongings out of his hands. To which the woman then proceeds, I suppose you're useless, and shoots him in the face with a crossbow. Unfortunately for the Lord of Tamport, he is no longer with us. The woman managed to escape. The party has reconvened as Snowmoon wandered off into another room to explore that hidden room. Find a very large altar with what looks to be almost a recess built into the altar. He recognized it as about the same size as a certain disc he found under a mismatched statue that had been erupted in the gazebo in the middle of town. He also then noticed a rather large, what can only be described as an archway. For those of you at home, let me toss our map up just in case you didn't see this last week. I'm going to toss that view back on there. Once more, show to players. Come on, work. There it goes. As these two massive, what look to be marble archways come up to rest upon this, what looks to be almost like a crystalline or almost like a geode of a very deep reddish brown, almost blackish color to it. And that's where we're going to pick up tonight's session. As Snowmoon has wandered into the other room, what is the rest of the party doing as you stand there next to a bloody corpse on the ground?
I'd like to check over the body, see if there's anything good on it.
Oh, okay, go ahead and make an investigation check.
When did you become the rogue?
Well, somebody's got to fill a spot.
Yeah, that's true.
I'm not going to comment on that one.
Well, I mean, I don't know if Granny's gonna stick around. That's...
Ooh.
A 14.
Oh, okay. So he was wearing a very nice white dress shirt, like a black leather, almost like a dress vest, but seemed to be made out of leather. You find a single dagger on him, and you do find a small coin pouch that does have 35 gold in it. That's it. Seems like everything else that he was carrying looks to be currently in Art's possession.
Does the dagger look nice and fancy, or is it just a normal
It looks just like a run-of-the-mill dagger.
utility? Okay. I'll pick up the coin person's like, well, I guess we could give this to the captain and say we found something. It's not much.
Well, that is good, I guess.
Well, there is the 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 map sheet. This thing, you know.
Yeah. Maybe we should tell the captain what we've been looking for. I don't think we actually have yet.
Perhaps a few people might need to be filled in on a couple things.
Fair enough.
But why don't we go into that room that no one disappeared into? See what kind of trouble he's gotten himself into.
Right, he always seems to be getting into trouble.
I hope it's not another slime.
Me too.
Everyone, come in here. I think I found something.
I'm going as fast as my tiny legs will carry me.
Well,
Oh my.
Wow, this is something.
Furia, I see there's a recess, it looks like, and doesn't it looks like it's the shape of what we found under the statue in the gazebo, doesn't it?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe we could try placing it there.
I'm sorry,
Uh,
DM, what's on the eastern walls?
Over here,
Yeah,
no one's gone over and looked yet.
I will go over and look at those.
I
It's
have a
basically this
feeling-
happened like literally right at the end of last session.
Oh,
There's no
okay,
one
okay.
in here, and it's like,
I just
well,
walked in here. so-
are you going to notice that? Are you going to notice holy giant fucking thing that I think I've been hearing about this whole fucking time?
Yeah, I'm gonna do my thing. Should I detect magic, guys? Would that be helpful right now?
I have no doubt that this is what they're looking to. You know,
No, I
do
understand,
with all their
but
pieces.
for the other items in the room, just to see if anything else pops up, or do you think that'd be something that we should do later?
Might be a good idea just before we skedaddle.
Are we going to poke our head through the giant thing too?
Not me.
I would not.
I
Do
might.
Do I see anything like other in the space of the arch, or is it just
No,
like,
it's just
empty?
as you're looking through it, basically as you all are standing in here, this is a massive. Basically, it's a cylindrical room. It's a large circular wall that runs up about 50 to 60 feet up, and then as it gets to the top, it sort of just crowns up in a dome ceiling. As you're looking through the archway, and Lydia, you would get that. Well, basically, all of you would realize there's nothing within this archway. It looks just like empty space.
Mm.
Now, those of you with some, I guess I'll say, innate magical abilities like Furia, Lydia, Artemis, you would probably realize that there are ways to make things like doorways invisible. But most of what any of you have heard of portals, usually they're more noticeable when they're active.
Okay, fine. Like disabled or this one.
Yeah, disabled, turned off, not currently active, however you want to phrase it. It's probably dormant at the moment.
This is definitely where, they were looking for the pieces, and I think they were going to store them here as they found them. So I think we should not put the piece in, as we do not want to summon whatever they're wanting to summon.
What if we don't summon something? What if we're supposed to go somewhere with the portal?
I don't think we should do anything with the portal. I think we should keep the pieces and not let anybody else have them.
But what about this archway? Do you think we need that giant stone at the top?
I think we should leave it be.
Okay.
As if anybody else comes along.
Should we put a should we put a pin in this to remember that this is here though, in case we want to ever come back and activate the portal ourselves?
I think it will be hard to forget this place, especially for Snow Moon.
I'm quite forgetful.
Well, we can mark it on our map then, to be safe.
Possibly should. What am I standing in front of? Could I ask that?
A massive altar.
Oh, an altar. Okay.
Well, it looks like an altar. It's a massive marble table.
Okay.
And again, in the roughly dead center of that, it looks to be just recessed about a half an inch or so.
Okay.
Looks like it's just large enough for that piece you found to just sort of set into it.
Okay, the piece goes here. Okay, sorry about that.
Oh, that's
Alright.
okay.
And then I'll mosey on and look at the stuff to the eastern wall, because I'm a curious folk.
As you start walking over,
Yes.
you don't even have to check for it. Looks to be hunting equipment.
Oh, hunting
You're seeing
equipment.
a myriad of short bows, long bows, quivers with a couple of arrows left in each one. Doesn't look like it's very well stocked. Even between the 4 different racks that you can see, there's only 3 short bows, 2 long bows, and about 12 arrows between all 4 of them.
Mm-hmm.
But as you guys have passed through and seen the dust on the ground, it looks like this place has not been used in quite some time.
What would you say? Venture to guess, because you know I'm good at guessing stuff and not getting it right. So I'll just guess. Would you say that this portal leads to other dimensions or something, and then they call different beings, and then they hunt them down, and they sacrifice them here, and then they put them in the trophy room to display?
What about what Art read about
I have no idea what Art read, I was not paying attention.
High North.
The Great Hunt.
Yeah, I was zoning that out. Can you repeat that information? Because I don't recall it quite. See, faulty memory.
Art,
I
you want to
Art
say
mentioning
what
the
you-
Great Hunt in all of the books.
Yeah, it's just sort of like an encyclopedic knowledge of this group going about this thing called a Great Hunt, where they go to different places and hunt down creatures, and they seem to give the spoils of stuff to the poorer, less fortunate, but there's still the matter of the giant lacquered dragon in the other room. Then this whole thing.
And there was a portal in the other room as well, through the water.
That was, as far as Art, you said it was active, right? We could have just jumped in it.
I forget.
Art knows that that it's a teleportation circle. That if you know the spell to activate it, it would still function.
But we don't know where it would go.
And Art also knew from looking at it that it is basically it's a. I guess I'll say it is a tunnel. So like some teleportation circles you can activate and you can say, okay, well I'm going to go to, Everland, hop on the teleportation circle and go to Waterdeep or go to Neverwinter or go to Daggerford or wherever else there's a teleportation circle. Art recognized that this is a fixed point. So wherever this thing goes to, it goes there, it comes back. You can't offshoot and go anywhere else with it.
I mean, maybe this was sort of an interim. Maybe that they did use the teleportation thing to go to some other meeting place.
Are there any runes in this portal?
Go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay, let's see what Granny got.
What you got with them glasses eyes?
That's 10?
It is a very lovely giant crystal at the top of this thing. That's probably
It is
worth
very lovely. Very
a couple of thousand gold if you could get it out of there.
Oh.
Ooh,
It's also about 25 feet in the air.
25 feet.
Granny parkour.
Well, if Snowmoon stood on my shoulders and you stood on Snowmoon's shoulders, maybe we could pry it out.
I'm pretty sure Furia said something about leaving it alone, but
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I feel like we
Pretty
got
sure we should just leave
Even
it
with
there.
all three of you, even with Lydia, Snowmoon, and Sarah, you still wouldn't be tall enough to reach it.
Mm.
You would literally,
Oh,
Lydia, Snowmoon, Furia, then Sarah would probably be close.
Oh. Yeah, that's
Actually, no, you'd literally need all 5 of you. Because
Okay.
Furia, aren't you only like 5.5 feet or so?
Who?
Furia.
What am
How
I?
tall am I? Yeah, I'm 5'8". Yeah.
Okay. So
I'm
I think
7'2".
Lydia's, yeah. So that's right there. There is 12, 10.
So big, so
Snowmoon,
small.
you're about 6 feet, right? Snowmoon, you're like 6 foot.
6'4".
Okay, so there is. So you're at 13. That's 19. Artemis is 3 and change. That would be 22. And Sarah, I
Oh,
think you
okay.
said you're only like 2 and change, right?
2.5.
Yeah. So even with that, it's literally Sarah would have fingers on the bottom of this thing, barely touching
Okay, okay.
it, tickling the bottom of the orb.
And Fury wouldn't help anyway, so.
Yeah. There's on. Oh man, I must be careful that I don't walk upon you by accident.
It's okay.
Yeah, she's pretty lethal to the ankle region.
Yeah, if I do, it's no. I don't mean it. I'm sorry. I'm just not that. Well, I am perceptive, but I usually got my head in the clouds. So
You are very tall, yes.
yes.
And Lydia, you can't help but have a slight flashback, remembering in the inn, because I know you weren't here for this, when one of these brigands that has been working with the take over the town threatened a child, and Sarah pulled a bottle out of the ground, off the shelf, swung it at his ankle, and killed him.
Yeah,
with a
yeah.
single bottle to the ankle. So Lydia's probably well aware to be careful walking around this little one.
Yes, of course. Yes.
Sarah's
like
gonna go over to the wall as well, and is just gonna start picking up some of those weapons and such. And oh, Artemis, do give me a hand, dearie.
Sure. Some of these things are as big as you, but sure.
It's okay. Just give me. She's gonna have like a big handful.
Yeah, easy enough to walk out with. Again, it's 12 arrows and then the short bows and the long bows.
Do
Big
you want me to
handful.
carry them for you? I don't
Oh.
mean to. Now that I know how small you are, I don't mean to imply that you can't handle it yourself. But in case you ever need some extra brawn, I'm your woman.
I appreciate that. I'm just,
Okay.
No one's going to be using this, so you know.
Yeah, just I'm gonna throw that out there for any future references. You two aren't. If you ever need anything carried, I can do that for you. Not in an awkward way, no. I'm so awkward. All right, I'm gonna walk away now.
Of course.
Well, what are we going to do with Tamford?
Dig a hole for a spotty? I thought that's what you decided.
Probably take his body back to the town and say,
Probably.
oopsie daisies. In a nicer way of speaking, but
Yes.
I think that's really all we can do. If we want to do anything in the first place, that is.
Well, I would rather return the body and encourage the townsfolk to leave, so we end up helping out those other kobold-y things,
They will be leaving these.
and then we can leave.
Okay, shall we get moving then?
Yes, quite.
We shall.
Okay, so as the group of you start heading out of the room, Artemis,
oh crap.
as you start walking out, you notice something sitting among a pile of what looks to be ropes on the altar.
Oh.
Pile roofs. I thought it was just all the animal.
It looks to be a small tubular case.
Okay. I gingerly pick it up.
Pick it up. It's leather tube. Looks like a scroll or a map case.
I pop it open. Is there anything in it?
Yep, there is a rolled up sheet of parchment within.
I've got, I'm gonna take a quick peek at that.
As you look at it,
Oh,
as you look down at it, it appears to be blank.
okay.
But as you sort of touch and run your hand, like as you're unfurling it, your fingers are telling you there's something written on this. Like you're getting the tactile sense of ink. You can feel the scratches on the paper at different points, but you can't see anything printed on it currently.
Okay. If I skitter on over to, are these torches, sconces
The
still
braziers are
lit?
not lit currently.
Oh, okay. Mm, okay. I'll roll it back up and pop it in the case and just kind of trail behind.
You also notice that those couple of things of rope you saw on the altar look to be like a lasso or like a rope and bridle type setup. Like one would use, literally like if you were thinking of like lasso a bull in rodeo. Looks like it's something else that would be potentially used for whatever game these individuals are hunting.
Okay then. Duly
that?
noted. Oh gosh.
Last round, hide that, and that's your new trophy.
No. So, there's already one half sticking out of the wall.
Yeah, but now with this one, you can have all on the ship.
Really. And then,
Eyeballed.
okay, I'll take behind people.
Don't be getting lost, dearie.
Yep, right. Sorry.
So how is the party planning on moving Tamford's body?
Lydia, I guess either you or I should.
All rock, paper, scissors, shoot for it.
I mean,
I'll just do it. Alright, I'll carry it.
I'll do it. It doesn't matter to me.
Doesn't matter to me either. Why don't you
Well,
carry
if you
it?
feel so,
Fine.
you
I'll.
know, you
It doesn't
can
bother
both carry
me.
an
So
end.
I'm sorry, Feria?
You
I'll
can
just-
both
at this
carry
point-
an end.
I'll pick him up and like toss him over my shoulder. And
Okay.
just
That works.
hold him like that.
Yeah.
So we will bounce you back out to our main map then. Now,
Sorry, did we know the lady that escaped from here?
you did not.
She looked okay. She was a stranger. Okay.
Yeah, she was a stranger. You did, again, the most notable thing about her, beyond her just being in here, was the couple of black feathers she had in her hair.
Oh, like the black feathers on the bunk above the heavy crossbow.
Right.
Okay, gotcha. Okay,
She also
gotcha.
turned into a bird.
Oh well,
Oh,
that
thank you,
would
yes.
do it.
And flew away.
Yeah, so much like you've seen Furia turn into a bear. You've
Okay.
seen a ship captain turn into a boar. She turned into
Right,
a
right,
bird.
right. Okay. Okay.
So with that, how are you guys planning on heading back to Tamport? Are you going to row this corpse back out to the ship and try to convince the captain to sail back around to the south, or are you just going to take the couple of hours march south back through the forest to get down to town?
I think we should walk. I don't think the captain's going to agree to going back to town.
Right.
All right.
Wouldn't it be good to have a corpse on the pirate ship when we did not cause the corpse?
What do you mean by that?
I sort of caused it, but
Well, you don't want to give yourself a bad name with the people. No, showing up with a dead body, all that.
We did kill everybody previously on the boat when we took it over. I mean, I'm not really worried about that.
Okay,
But I
so
think it would be a
have
hard sell to get the captain to sail around.
Probably wouldn't want to waste any more time. You're right. So why don't we just walk it back and then walk back? You're right.
I suppose so.
Okay, let's do that then.
So who's taking point?
I will. I'll navigate.
Oh, okay. Go ahead and make a survival check for me. We'll jump it back over to our area map here.
25.
Okay. So it takes you a couple of minutes to get yourself sort of aligned as you come back out into the light from this very sort of dark room. Even with Lydia carrying that little lit stone, it's still being hit by the full brunt of the daylight's a little jarring at first. But eventually you make your way out. Takes you a couple of minutes to get situated, but hour and 20 minutes later, you find yourself walking back down that northern path that you were pointed out that he had run off with the others back into town, with Snowmoon carrying him on his shoulder. As you start coming back into town, I don't know why I didn't just jump you over to the town, because you were going to be heading right back over there. You do see standing outside the inn is your half-orc bartender friend.
Rick Astley.
He seems to have been brought back to consciousness, as well as the young woman whose son Sarah had protected. They're both just sort of leaning up outside. You can hear some sort of work being done within the inn as you guys sort of come down towards the gazebo.
Any
I would be heading over to them for sure.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can hear the two of them having not really a hushed conversation, but they're just sort of quietly talking with each other. He's complaining about having to clean up all the oil from the bar. Just sort of griping about everything and looking forward to getting it back open so people can get back into some sense of normalcy.
Ah, good friend. Good to see you.
Oh, I didn't think I'd be seeing you coming back around here.
Yeah,
you-
glad.
Left all them bodies in my inn.
Oh, sorry about that, mate. I hope that your head's treating you better, though. Got a nasty blow.
I'm awake, I'm still breathing, so some of them people in there help me out and cleaning it out for me.
Nice.
So what's bringing you back here? Shouldn't you be gone already?
Oh, we were going to do that, but it looks like, we've... Barry, why don't you tell them what happened?
Well, we were suspicious after what happened to your inn, and went after your leader of the town. And turns out we were actually too late and found him with a bolt in his brain.
Get the one who did it?
They weren't there when we came across him. We're assuming whoever he left with, but
Considering he was the one who locked us all up in here, I would like to buy that person a drink, but we don't know who. At least we're rid of him.
Spits on the ground.
do you have any plans for the future?
Talk about setting up some sort of a council now to rule this here place. What the few of us are left.
What about the other creatures on the island?
If they're a peaceful lot, I don't see why we can't get along with us. But they'd have to be
Well-
willing to come and have a conversation with us, and
If you don't want to fight them, I'm sure they don't want to fight you, but when we all went to talk to them, they were upset that there was no more game for them to hunt on the island.
And he sort of just creases his brow a little bit.
there never really been much game on the island. Most of what we had, we brought with us.
Well, they are small folk. Maybe they didn't need much, but
You can teach them the ways of animal husbandry, and you can work together. You know, make a small farm plot together. I don't know.
but if your council goes down to talk to them in peace, they are of a negotiable lot.
I suppose we'll have to try doing that then. Unfortunately, with all the boat brain there, the secret of where he had the money hid is all but gone. I'd had a few people tossing his house looking for things.
He sort of looks away.
I might have been one of them.
Fair enough, friend. Fair enough.
So what am I to do with this one then?
Just bury him.
Could always eat.
They could always eat it. Or you could.
Ain't quite of my tasting, but I heard stories of some of them lizard people in that far forest out there to the southeast eating peoples.
Well, I'm certainly not going to carry him all the way there just so they can eat him.
Well, I think he's talking about you, Snow Moon, eating the.
I have no interest in eating him either.
It's calling you. Well, that's kind of racist. Anyway, so yeah.
Well, we only brought him here for your sake in the first place. I didn't realize he would get such a warm reception here.
Just throw them out north of the city. No one here cares.
His
Right.
clothes might be worth something. But other than that,
Probably not to anyone on the island.
true. A little too fancy.
So Half-Orc looks down at himself like,
A little too small.
Ew.
Perhaps let's just leave him on the north side of this little town and we'll be on our way.
Sounds good.
All right.
Well, it was good to see you again. Good luck with your council. I hope that they appoint you a position on it.
I hope not. It sounds like a lot of
Or
work.
that too. I hope you enjoy your time on this island, though.
Once we get everything fixed.
I can cast mending on something. That's about it.
Anybody got any soap? We could wash the tavern out, but just straight water's not going to do much.
I don't know what they're using in there, but it stinks of high hell, so I came out here.
Well, whatever you do, make sure you talk to the other creatures on the island first, before you go fighting them.
That I can do.
You saw what they have already done to everybody here.
Yeah. We all heard the stories.
Well, I'm going to be on my way.
Good, just
Yeah, we can go dump the body and then make our
Yeah.
way back up north or towards our ship.
Sounds
Okay.
good.
I think at this point a watery burial is fine.
Actually, we could just dump the body. That way it doesn't attract. Oh, maybe they want to attract game. Who knows?
Just like, just grunts.
Snow
and
Moon,
just
you're carrying him.
repositions
Do
him
what
on
you
his
want.
shoulder. It turned out to be quite a waste.
As you guys start walking away from the inn, you hear him go,
Hey, where's your kid? Are you supposed to be getting me more hay to fix the roof of my house?
I look over at Art. Then I just like,
Oh, oops.
Ooh, ooh. Oh yeah. Oops. Fix the house.
eventually you,
Okay.
now, Snowman, are you planning on dumping this right up, like literally 50, 100 feet outside the village? Are you carrying it all the way back to the shore? What are you doing with this body that you're currently lugging around?
Just some bushes.
Yeah, once we
Bushes.
get to like a little bit denser forest, I guess I'll just kind of like place them against a tree or like down among the brush,
Okay, easy enough to do.
and I'll just drop them and yeah, just keep moving.
Okay. You guys drop the body off, make your way back. Again, just about 2 hours now to get back to the shore where you had left your longboat. You can see Captain is still anchored off in the distance. Hop back in. Lydia and Snowmoon grabbing the oars, have you back over the ship a couple of minutes later, and crew helps you all aboard and pulls the boat back up. See Captain up at the wheel, looks over the group of you. So, everything in order then?
well, we found somewhat unexpected and not entirely what we hoped. I will hand her a pouch of money I found on Cam.
He sort of picks up, shakes it. That's somewhat underwhelming, but
I agree.
it is what it is. So, what's next in this strange, whatever the hell it is we're doing here?
Well, we found a map.
Anything of promise on it?
Something new that we did not know about before.
Oh, right. Art'll hand it over.
And she sort of
But-
pulls it up and looks at it and just sort of shakes a little. Like a sheet of some sort almost. Not even a proper map. But, it's not to scale. Bloody hell. Just ignoring it, just babbling to herself for a few minutes looking at this thing. Okay, yes, over by... Oh, it's not that far from Hammerstead. What are your thoughts? I know that we originally spoke... Well, you had mentioned something in Dragon's Home, but I know there's no real... Well, there's not really a settlement there. I'm not sure what you're looking for. Then we have another spot marked in the middle of the ocean where... Again, I don't know what you'd be looking for in the middle of the ocean.
We don't know what would be there either. That's what makes it so curious.
Art is looking up at Furia over to everybody else and just sweating a little bit.
Well, we have 2 locations on our map identified, so one or the other, it seems.
Yeah, let me toss another potential wrinkle at you then, as we are somewhat rapidly approaching Greengrass.
What's
Are none of you familiar with that specific holiday?
Maybe not by that name.
Well, it is celebrates the beginning of spring. Typically, I try to give the accrue some time. Yeah, a couple of days, call it shore leave, to blow off steam, spend a little coin, whatever they've managed to earn. And we have just shy of a week. So I'd like to be at a port of call, at least for a day or two within that time frame.
It's fine by me.
But first I need to know what your thoughts are, where we would be heading, so I know how to... Granted, it is my vessel, but you've made a decent amount of coin for me short of this last excursion, so there's no reason to follow your judgment for a little while longer.
Well, you mentioned Hammerstad, Captain. You said that was close to one of our marked locations.
Yes, if you... she keeps sort of messing with the sheet and then just sort of balls up, drops it on the ground, goes over, pulls out her own chart, and points out that Hammerstad is actually on Jotunspine.
Okay.
Within probably, let me just check the mileage here. Yeah, it's not even a day's travel from the mark you have on the calendar. The mark that you have on the sheet that Art found.
Okay.
So
That's true. We
shall
could go there first.
set sail for the North Wind Strait then, and have time still to
That's
port.
right. Let's
Make
see
port.
here if we can... Yeah, so, Captain, if my estimate's right, based on my chart, not that horrendously scaled thing that whoever you took that from, Artemis, I swear, that's probably about 250 miles. As best we can sail, given the lay of the land. There's no real straight path to get there. But we can head that direction, but we will be sailing somewhat near your point if we go to Hammerstad. We might be able to instead if we can if we take our time we could stop at Seawolf instead. It's not quite as lively as Hammerstad, but that crew won't know the difference.
It makes no difference to me.
I've never been to either.
Less likely to get in a bunch of trouble.
Less likely to being the key there.
There is Captain looks over and only if you try really hard not to, but what's the fun in that?
Right. We never try.
Ah, yes, Captain.
Trouble finds us.
Okay, anything else the party would be discussing, or...
Sarah would like to ask, are we still with the captain as well, or just party?
You guys haven't walked away yet. You're more than welcome to, though.
Okay.
And now the captain's just sort of looking to see if there's anything else that anyone's saying.
No. Captain, never mind. Silly me.
And then be about your business. We'll be leaving for sail in probably within the next quarter of an hour.
Wonderful.
Right.
I would like to sleep in one of the unmarked bunks tonight, just to see what happens. Maybe I'll turn into my spirit animal. What do you think, Furia? Is that how it works?
I think it doesn't matter what bunk you sleep in. It should have the same effect.
Yes. Well, not
think
my
that
bed.
much-
That's all I meant.
Oh, I got you.
The bed that we brought over that's me-sized.
Oh,
So-
right.
Are you sure you're going to be comfortable?
No, I won't be at all, but I want to try it out.
Do let me know what happens.
Will
Please
do.
refrain from turning into a bird. I think I've had enough of those for today.
I will try. Personally,
Well,
I like
if
turtles.
you manage to, let me know how you do it. That's my next project.
All right.
Okay, so the party. Basically, you guys have a few days to yourself. As the captain's setting a nice, leisurely pace. Like I said, you guys have got the better part of a 10-day before Greengrass. But she wants to make sure that the she gets the crew somewhere, as most cities have some sort of I don't really want to call it like a festival, but some sort of a
Shindig.
celebration for. Ooh, I just lost my there we go. So typically you'll and all of you have at least been near some semblance of this type of a behavior before. Typically you see people who are a little more well off in the community will bring out flowers, and basically they'll deliver flowers to some of the less affluent, who will then spread them out on the ground, use them to dress up in, I'll call it fancier outfits, or almost like costumes, to encourage the gods to usher in the summer.
Cool.
But as the days go through, take you. Let's see.
Nothing happens when I lie in the bed, or I sleep in the bed.
We
for the
haven't
night.
got that far yet.
Oh, okay.
And I would be getting Art to look at that dagger I found.
Oh, the ceremonial one?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so it's going to be like, at normal sailing speed, it would be 2.5 days to get there. Captain's taking their time a little bit, so you've actually got 4 days before you'll be there, which
Okay.
will put you in town. I'm going to say 4 days only because I don't my calendar is in the other room because I didn't remember to grab it today. So I'm going to say 4 days, but my math may be on. She may take a little longer because she's actually going to have you guys pulling up to dock the morning of the 30th, the last of the month. Greengrass is the next day. Basically, Greengrass is celebrated. It's an entire day that takes place between the after the 30th of Tarsak, but before the 1st of Myrtle. So as you all lay down in your bed, well, actually, we know Lydia's jumping into a bed that's unmarked. Snowmone, are you sleeping at that bed that was a little larger? The one that didn't have any markings on it, that was under the bird feather bed?
Yeah, that's where he would go.
Oh, okay.
Because he was there before, so.
What about Artemis? I can't remember. Did you say, Artemis and Fury, did you say you were bringing hammocks over from the old ship?
I said I would.
Okay.
But try it out. I would sleep in a bed one of the nights.
Oh, okay.
No, I have a top bunk where I've tacked up some pictures of stuff that I've seen on the bottom of the seafloor on the ceiling.
Oh, okay. That's right. Okay, so eventually, at some point, you all go to sleep that first night. And as you wake the next morning, none of you feel any different. None of you recall any, like, weird dreams or anything like that.
Okay.
Same as you woke up. You know, for Lydia, you were a little bit uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
Being this bed's a little smaller. They really only had one oversized bed, which looked to be for the big guy who was out in front of the inn, and that's the one that you all gave to Snowmoon. Because you
I'm
guys had
benevolent
brought
like
your
that.
bed over.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you all wake up that next morning feeling refreshed.
Little creaky. All right.
Yeah, little creaky. You still get the benefits of a long rest, but you're definitely, as you're walking around, you've got that little bit of lower back pain just from
Yeah.
sleeping in a slight cricked angle. Sort of like having a Staffordshire Terrier pressed against your kidneys all night. So anything anyone would be doing during the traveling?
Yeah, I would dig up that ceremonial dagger and give it to Art to check out.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, Art, you're going to spend a little time with this dagger?
Sure, I'll start. I envision the top bunk just an absolute mess, and they don't want to leave their bunk to like set up a little ritual space anywhere else. So there's just like the posts that are like on either four corners or whatever have like weird candles just stuck to them, and they're just like, okay, fine, doing this again.
Interesting space, Art.
Be careful with those candles and all the wood. Yes, and
Yeah.
sheaths and flammable objects. Yeah.
On the plus side, we are surrounded by water, dearie.
Yeah, but we don't want the water to come in after the wood catches on fire. So.
I'm careful
got
with
room
fire.
where
What
I
are you
can put it
talking
out.
about?
So, Art, you spend take your time with your ritual. As you manage to finish casting your incantations, it comes across the dagger does not seem to have any magical properties.
Oh,
It does just as you've been concentrating on looking at. It looks to just be a very nice dagger. The pommel of it is gold. As you spend a little time with it, you know it's actual like full on gold. It's not like gold plated. It's
Ooh.
literally a golden handle. The blade seems to be some sort of black material. You're guessing maybe obsidian. So it definitely if you're using it on like a creature, you're pretty sure it would work fine. But if you hit something wrong, like if you take this and like drive it into a block of metal, it's more than one or two times, and it's probably going to do some damage to the blade. But again, for normal combat use, you'd think there'd be nothing wrong with it.
okay then. They'll blow out the candles and kind of kick everything into one side of the bed. Well, Fear, there's nothing magic-y about it.
Alright.
You owe me a candle, and the handle is gold through and through, so it could fetch a pretty penny. Yes.
Do you think we should just give it to the captain as something else we found? I don't see any use for it. I got my own two swords, a longbow, a quarterstaff.
Yeah, speaking of, where did Sarah go with all of that crossbows and such? Yes, maybe? I'm worried about if it has any significance to those people who are doing the great hunt and such.
Oh, true.
You've already
Well,
taken it though, so I mean.
I'll just put it in the bag of holding. You never know; it might come in handy later.
Speaking of the bag of holding, though, I'm pretty sure there's a spell book in there that I'd kind of like to take a look at.
All right, and I think about spellbook, and I dig around, and I believe it was the red one, right? That we
I
found
just
way back
remember you
when.
saying waterproof spell book.
I think it was like a red covered
Yeah,
blank
it
book
was
that
that
we
one.
found. So. I wish you could just stick your head in here and see everything like a normal bag.
Also, the
I
DM
dig it
is-
out and I give it to you.
The DM's muted, by the way.
Yeah.
Thank you. Saves me. That means you all didn't hear that slip up, so I'm happy about that.
Okay, cool.
So yeah, as Furia hands it over to you, yeah, it's a basically for artists. It is what is it called? Give me a second. I gotta pull up the name of it now.
What happens if I do stick my head into
Okay.
the bag of hope?
It is called an enduring spellbook.
Enduring.
So it is this spellbook, along with anything that you write within it. This includes spells, notes, anything like that. Cannot be damaged by fire or water. In addition, the spellbook does not deteriorate with age.
Sweet.
So if someone's to
Dog.
as you're sitting there after a long rest, you're reading your spell, getting your spells ready for the day. Bad guy comes running by, grabs your spellbook, throws it in the fire. Right now, there goes everything. You now know only what you have memorized until you buy a new spellbook. This book prevents that. Mind you, if they steal it, you're still going to go get it back. Same problem, but it's a whole lot easier than having it burnt to nothing.
Nice.
Or, submerged in water.
Yeah. On a boat.
Yeah.
In the middle of the ocean.
It's pretty helpful.
So the one thing to keep in mind, though, is check the player's handbook. There is a cost involved with copying spells over into a new spell book. So for levels like 1 and 2, it's really not that bad. It takes an hour per spell level, and I think it's 50 gold per spell level. If I remember. It's been a while since I had to do it for Molfen. Well, let me rephrase. It's been a while since it's mattered for Molfen because we have so much money now. But at the beginning, it was one of those where it was like...
Yeah, and I think for evocation spells, it's half price.
Oh, if you've already gotten to that stage, which you guys should have at this level, I believe you get that bonus for your subclass already.
Oh boy, still don't have a lot of money, but we'll get the part of the way there then. I guess I'll spend some time copying over a few spells, just because I don't have a lot of money.
Easy enough to do. And then eventually the days continue to roll on as you continue sailing. Weather seems to be pretty good. Captain, you don't hear anything from the lookouts as you all are taking care of your regular daily duties. Furia, the kitchen, I'll call it the kitchen on this boat, or the galley, is a little nicer than the one you're used to, as this is a larger vessel. So you've got a little more space. You and the, I guess I'll call him the primary cook, are not sort of tripping over each other as much. The crew notices because the food is coming out better than it was before. So you can definitely see people's spirits are a little higher. The captains let the crew know that they're heading off, they're heading to a location. They're going to get a little shore leave for the holiday coming up. You do notice on one of the days while you're traveling that the who would be most likely to be up on deck in the evenings as the sun is going down?
Me.
Oh, okay. Oh, it doesn't have to be one of you. It could be all of you if y'all.
Oh.
It's just those of you who are up on deck as the sun is setting and the moon is starting to come out. You're noticing as it's getting that the moon is moving towards a full moon. You notice it's a couple of days ago, you remember it was just like another crystal clear night. It was a beautiful, just a literal perfect half circle in the sky. It is ever so slowly getting more full as you're traveling.
Artemis, darling, if I may borrow you for a second as well. whenever you're done with your magic. Can just gesture at the books and the copy pasting going on. I just want to know if you have any idea what this may be, and I'm gonna slide that little embroidered symbol of fabric over to them.
Okay.
Take your time. Take your time. Just tell me if you have any idea of what this may be, okay?
I cannot remember if
Sure. I'm
I
going to-
have it. Don't worry.
Then I can't remember if I put it in a handout for you or not.
Okay.
Start a tab for candles.
And Sarah's going to actually see if she can find Viria over in the kitchen area. Because Grammy's gonna make some potato scones.
Good.
Okay. I'm gonna go to Discord because I'm a genius. Oh, hey, that works. So do me a favor, Para, pull up in Discord because I can't find the actual original file on my computer at the moment.
Mm-hmm.
And you'll see an emblem appear that Sigma shared for you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, folks at home, that is my fault. As y'all are looking at that as, yeah. It's a thing! Okay, so did you get a chance to see it?
Yep.
Okay, so go ahead and make an intelligence check for me.
That's 8.
Okay, you've been staring at just runes and copying things over in your spell book for so long today. You don't really notice that. You don't have any idea what this is at the moment.
Honestly, it doesn't really look like much, but I've been flipping through all of these for the better part
it's
of the whole
okay.
day.
It's okay. Well, thank you, Artemis. I'll just take it back. And she's a little kind of sag looking, go find Furia.
Okay. Yeah, easy enough to find her at one point, as it said. As you've been on the ship for now a couple of days, so you're getting used to when people are moving to their different duties or have their off time. So you said you were looking to cook something?
Yes.
Yeah, so you know exactly the times that Fury tends to be near the galley. So you're easy enough to find her. She's starting to head in there for the next meal.
Need an extra pair of hands?
Well, I guess. You really have to ask Cook, but they're the one in charge.
All right. I'll go ask Cook.
Uh,
Go ask Cookie.
And as you walk over, just sort of it's out of my way. I'm an artiste.
Of course. Of course.
You see Feria sort of rolling her eyes behind his back.
Someone kind of turns when he hears the cook say that and just kind of laughs to himself.
Sarah's gonna go and grab they're very big in her hands because she is small, but you're gonna see her with some sweet potatoes and regular potatoes. And it's just kind of like when a kid is trying to help you cook, you're just seeing hands putting stuff on the counter. You know, Fira, you remind me when I was your age. Young, small, dainty, beautiful. pass me that knife, please?
I'll hand it. I'm probably
Small.
older than you think. But
Thank you.
you're older than I am.
Of course I am.
That looks
Oh my
dangerous.
god.
Are you sure you don't need a stool or something to see what you're doing?
No. Believe me, I've done much more treacherous, tedious as this.
All right.
The cinnamon, please, dear.
There's more. I don't know if we have any in scuffling and. Oh, I found it's like a really old caked can of cinnamon.
Thank
I
you.
mean, this is all we got.
You see, like, shaking, and there's, like, little plumes of powder going everywhere. Thank you. Just gonna pat it all down.
That's our ship. Oh, it's our ship. It got
It's,
smaller.
it's a placeholder.
It
I'm
keeps
sorry.
shrinking.
If your ship is that big, you're going through the island. You're not going
That's
around
true.
it.
That's true.
It's a ramming ship.
Yeah, get enough
true.
speed, we'll just go over the land.
Yeah, that's true.
Gonna just take these off. Put them to cook.
I want to try these potato scones, like, in real life. They sound really good.
They actually are really good, and I didn't know they were real until D&D.
Oh. If you have a recipe, send it over.
I will.
Nice.
Don't worry, Granny always has her recipe.
I know, your voice is so soothing, by the way. I'm like, yeah, this is great. Granny's gonna take care of me.
Thank you.
Now there's too many people in the kitchen. Shoot.
Okay,
Shoot.
okay, I'll leave.
If you're not helping, leave.
As Sarah has started cooking these, and the scent of cinnamon has started drifting through the lower parts of the ship, you start noticing crew members who aren't on duty actively, are slowly starting to zombie walk. It's like Scooby and Shaggy following the scent of food. Just
Like a Looney Tunes pie.
exactly. That finger going.
You know, these were my Albert's favorite. He would always ask for them, and he would eat all of them in one sitting. I would never get a taste. And I said one day, Albert, if you're going to keep doing this, I'm gonna need some restitution. You know what he did?
I'm not there.
He bought me a potato plant, and it was one of the best gifts I ever received. And you see a little hand with a spatula like flip, and then coat the other side with cinnamon.
Sucks, man. I'm hungry.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, I'll keep shooing people away from the doors. Too many people in the kitchen. Go away. It'll be done soon.
You gotta
And
go
back
like,
to my regular.
"Hmm."
It'll be like a line outside the door.
Dear, the plates, please, dear. Plate?
I'll dig out a stack.
Thank you. If you could just, cut. Well, I do suppose I didn't make enough.
We'll make them in tiny squares
Yes.
or quarters.
Of course.
Something
If you could
like
just
that.
do that for me, I'll start on another batch of batter.
Yeah, I'll quickly cut them up so everybody can have a taste and start handing them out.
It seems like
And no, you already had one. Move along.
you definitely find a couple after that first taste that try to like weasel their way back into the line, but it definitely seems like Sarah has found something the crew will be requesting at points. As
Oh, those look so good.
Yeah.
as it takes a couple of hours for everything, everyone to sort of make their way through it, but eventually your you hear the captain start shouting out a couple of days later that you will be approaching the dock of Seawolf. So you have the night, and then you'll be arriving at some point tomorrow morning, as the captain wants to get there bright and early and get everything situated. Is there anything anyone will be doing the last night that you're at sea for this leg of your journey?
Nope.
Okay.
I would probably give Sarah a brief history of why we were looking for those things.
Yes, please.
The thing that I bowled over as a bear, that sort of thing. So, it all started in a turtle, and we encountered a were shark,
Oh.
and he had this thing, and told us about, making a portal, and we decided that it was important enough that we go and get all the pieces. And while we were in the turtle, we overheard of them talking about other places that these pieces were. So that's why we ended up in Care Westfall and set a bunch of stuff on fire, maybe intentionally. And we left in a great deal of trouble in the city, and then came over here where we found you and got our piece. And that's what that bedsheet map was for, we're assuming. And that whole little northern cave was for those archway pieces. We don't have the whole picture, but I mean, that's the short story, I guess.
Hey.
Don't ever go into a turtle if you can help it. Just putting that out there.
She's circling.
Okay.
Well, could I actually do something real quick?
Of course.
I want to take a look at the scrolls that Dunbar gave me. Unless I already did and I forgot.
I don't believe you have.
Just gonna
Let
take
me
a
see,
quick little peek at those.
And look at your whisper I sent you.
And that, yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm all out of cash, guys.
I can give you some gold. How much do you need?
Oh, I need a lot, so it's okay.
Do you want me to give you like 100? Would that help?
Do you take commissions?
It's too close to home.
Okay. So as you are pulling this out and you're looking at the scrolls that Dunbar gave you, and did you write down how many he gave you?
3.
Okay, that's what I marked down. I just want to make sure I was remembering correctly. I hadn't rolled proper. Okay. So as you're looking at them, it doesn't take you long to realize these are all 3 are spells. And Artemis would also be fully aware that they are spells that you could, in fact, once you're skilled enough to cast them, you could copy them into your spell book. You could also attempt to cast them by reading them from the scroll, but you do have to make a Arcana check to see whether or not you succeed or whether or not the scroll just bungles and disappears. So the 3 spells that you find or provided to you. The first one is a level 1 spell, Tensor's Floating Disc. The second one, and DMs, if you're watching this, don't roll for your spells. Sometimes it'll bite you in the butthole. The second one is a level 4 spell, Vitriolic Sphere.
That's a good spelling bee word.
You know what I can do? Because I can think so. Wait, is this not going to work for me?
We
Ah,
live
there
in
it
the
goes.
internet age.
Vitriolic Spear. I can
Nice.
actually put it in from D&D Beyond for you. Now that I realize...
Oh, that's super cool.
Sorry, give me a second. We're jumping back up so I can find the other one where it seems you are unfamiliar with this one. We will... Okay, Tensor's Floating Disc is the level 1 spell, which is a ritual spell as well.
Hmm.
And the third one is a level 6 spell.
Ooh.
And that is Tensor's Transformation. So those are the 3 scrolls that the old sea wizard gave to you.
Holy cannoli.
Wow.
As you're spending a little time looking at them, you're starting to get the feeling that he... again, for those of you who don't remember, Dunbar Mastermate is basically a barrel-chested bear of a man. Looks like he would be much more at home in a, bear wrestling contest or, running a bilge pump, hauling lumber, literally ripping trees out by the roots and then carrying them back to his house over, studying books. But the party met him and he offered to he gave Art a little gift. And as you take them out of the scroll, as you open the case and take them out, you see as you're opening the top and you sort of take the top off, in very small letters on the inside of the scroll case, it says, in common, sometimes you serve yourself best by serving others.
Hmm.
Sorry, I saw Michael's comment in the Twitch chat. He understands the pain. I make him love
Oh
it.
yeah. Yes.
So as the evening comes to pass and you are all hunkered down in your bunks for the evening, what is everyone's passive perception?
17.
16.
12.
We're
15.
15. Oh, wait, perception?
Yep, passive perception. If you're using
12.
D&D... Oh, okay. So basically everyone except for Snowmoon and Sarah. As you all settle down for the evening and start to sleep, some point in the middle of the night, you hear what can only be described as like animal feet on the running around on the ship. You hear basically like a 4-legged gate and almost like nails on the ground, almost like if you've got a dog or a cat that its nails are a little too long running on the floor, and you hear that like
Tippy tappy. Yep.
Yeah.
Tappy.
you hear it for a couple of seconds and then it's gone. It's
We don't
enough
have-
that it's enough for those of you with 15 and over that it sort of pulls you out. Oh wait, what? No, that's not. What's that sound? That's not on a ship. Right. On a bets.
Yet. I'll go up and look.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would roll out of bed and start wandering around, half asleep, looking for, that must have been something.
Okay, go ahead and make perception checks for me.
Nice. 23.
Okay.
21.
Okay. So as you hear the sound sort of tippy-tapping across the ground and then it disappears, you roll your way out of bed and start looking around. Looking around down in the underside, heading up to the top section. You spend about 15-20 minutes. You can't find anything. And sure you check up on the doors. As you head up onto the deck and you're looking around, you can see I'll call it the skeleton crew that's running the ship at this point in the evening. Look down. Oh, everything okay? What are you two doing out of bed?
Did you see something down on the ship recently? Like within the past 15 minutes or so?
Saw two of you. No, it's been clear night.
That's not what we're looking for. The two of us. I'm gonna...
Oh, if you're looking for yourself, you got more problems than I can help you with.
This is true. I'm gonna use Furball magic to see if I can do the detect magic thing.
Oh, okay. So as you cast detect magic and you start looking around, you don't see anything. I'll phrase it: you don't see anything unexpected.
Bummer.
So as you look in, you see the couple of magic items that you and your party members may or may not have on them as you're walking around, but you don't see anything out of the ordinary for you.
Okay.
Lady,
Well-
I wonder if it had something to do with those beds.
True.
Or the symbol that we found on the captain's door. It was
I'm
a
wondering.
paw print.
Can I turn my detect magic over to those things to look at them?
Sure.
Would they
So
be
it's-
glowing or anything?
As you're looking at the beds, and I cannot remember how I phrased it last time looking at them. You don't get any new sense from
Okay.
anything you're looking at. You're getting that same sort of, I guess I'll say the whole spirit animal feel. Again, I can't remember the exact phrasing I used to describe the beds before.
You
But
said spirit family, yeah.
Yeah. You don't get anything different as you're looking at it.
Okay. So it didn't change. Okay. Nothing changed for you. I don't know where the sounds were from.
Would I have been able to tell what kind of animal it was from what I heard, or is it too
True.
vague?
Go ahead and make a nature check. It's a fairly high DC, but I know your nature is pretty good too, so.
Well, I rolled a 19, so that is
Nice.
21?
Oh, okay.
22? Yeah, somewhere in there.
So from the sounds you heard with that, you know it is something. Well, give me a minute. I gotta look and see what sort of feet this dang thing has now. I'm just not anticipating that question.
Nice.
Okay. Well, that is maddeningly unhelpful. I don't know how to. You don't think it is. There's too many things that are similar to this. I'll say you don't think it's like. You don't think it's anything. I guess I'll say normal. It's not like a house cat, a rat, a small dog. It's the sound, the way you heard the feet, there was more oomph behind it. So you know it is some sort of a larger animal with some sort of like hard, at least a portion of its foot is hard, which was making the sort of clicking or the tapping sound you were hearing. But yeah, there's no way to really narrow down the exact type of creature.
Okay.
Especially now that I pulled up the feet.
Definitely not something usually found on a ship.
Oh, hell no.
Okay.
All right.
And even if it was, even if we were to say that, okay, Fury thought it might be a cat or something, you would know that this is a much larger, it seems to be a much larger animal. So as you would normally think of a cat as, maybe a foot and a half, 2 feet long, maybe 20 pounds. This thing sounded like it was probably a good, just from the footsteps, 80, 100 pounds.
Okay. Bigger than a bread box.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Okay.
Or if it's smaller than a bread box, then it is one massively dense critter.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Right, I guess we'll go back to bed and keep one eye open kind of thing for this thing.
I guess so. Hey, did you ever notice anything on your headboard? Any
Oh yeah.
animals?
Oh yeah, did the animal show up on my headboard?
On the bed you slept in? Nope.
Yeah, no.
Not, again, if, as you've been, assuming you tried, multiple beds or tried, one without anything, one that had a bear, depending on how much experimentation you did, didn't seem to notice anything on yours.
Not yet. I'm still holding out hope that I'll be a turtle.
Interesting choice, for sure.
I love turtles. Can you speak Turtlein?
No, I don't know. I don't know if turtles have their own language.
Sometimes I talk to turtles, but I don't know if they talk back.
Wouldn't that be kind of rude if they talked back?
Well, I guess so, you're right. In that sense. Alright. Well, let me know wake me if anything else happens, if you notice anything else.
All right.
Okay, so is everyone, well, the rest of you are still unconscious, but as the evening comes to an end, you wake up in the next morning, heading into dock at Seawolf. And that's where we'll call an end. Yeah, it's early. Like I said, it's bound to happen eventually. That's where we're going to take tonight's break.
Nice.
So we'll be back in just a few minutes to see how the party, or what the party does, at the city of Seawolf, as they arrive on the 30th of Tarsak, the day before Greengrass. So with that being said, make sure you hang with us. We'll be back in just a few moments. Thank you for those who've been hanging out with us so far, and we will see what our party does next.
BRB.
welcome back, everyone. Our party is just landing, well, just making berth at the docks of Seawolf. As the ship is brought in and moored next to the dock, you can see it seems to be a somewhat light day for activity on the dock ward. You definitely see that there are a large number of what look to be like floral carts and things being wheeled off of a couple of other ships that are here. Looks like everything is getting prepared for the celebration tomorrow. Is there anything in specific the party would be looking to do during this? I guess I'll say during this day of preparation.
Are there any Nightshade family flowers on the flower carts?
Would Sarah just be looking, or would Sarah be asking as well?
Asking as well.
Okay. So you go through, takes a couple minutes talking to a few of them, and all of them pretty much give you the... I would assume what it is, only because I know what Nightshade is, so what I'm assuming Sarah is assuming the answer is going to be is that they don't bring stuff like that out for this sort of a sale. But they do point you to an apothecary that has been known to sell limited amounts of Nightshade, as well as potentially some other somewhat questionable items. But they do also warn that the guards do like to keep an eye on that place, as you know, some questionable dealings have happened in the past. So
would anybody like to come and be my muscle?
Are we
Sure.
starting trouble?
I'll come along.
We don't need to leave this town in trouble.
Not finding trouble, just finding supplies.
Like, how big is the town? Okay.
Sorry. It's a pretty decent size. It's probably similar in size to I lost the name of the city you started with in Mintarn. It's not a capital city. Hermestad is the larger of the two cities on this island.
Okay.
But it's probably
Like Care, Westfalm?
it's sort of a little in between that first city on Mintarn and Cair Westfall. Whereas Cair Westfall would take you a good hour and a half, 2 hours to walk one side to the other. You could probably clear this city if you were walking at a regular pace within an hour.
Okay.
There's probably a good couple of thousand people in the city overall.
Okay, cool.
Well, between the city itself and the small outskirts, like farming areas and things of that nature.
Okay. Cool.
So I'll come along, Sarah.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so we got Sarah and Snowmoon heading off to the apothecary. Artemis, Furia, Lydia, anything the three of you would be doing?
Is there like a local guide or like a map maker or something like that, maybe? Someone that could tell us, like, oh, what's in the Northwind Strait? Like these areas that we might find interesting.
I'm sure. Go ahead and make a survival
Tourist
check.
booth?
Yes, tourist.
Ye olde tourist booth.
Sure. What am I making? Sorry.
Survival check.
Ooh, not great. 12.
Okay. So as you wander off to find some help from the locals, see what you can find out about the area. Fury, Artemis, what would anything either of you would be doing?
I would follow Lydia just to see what she's getting up to.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Make sure she doesn't get lost, you know.
Yeah.
they'll probably follow along. I don't really have much to do.
Okay, so who are you following along with?
Oh,
As it seems like they're separating
Lydia.
and going two different directions. Okay, so you've got
Yeah.
3 and 2. So we will start out with the apothecary. So as you start heading down this down these couple of streets, Sarah, that basically leading Snow Moon down this way, you eventually notice a sign on the front of this building. It looks to be almost like a very small, what looks to be almost like a cauldron, with 3 circles, like a couple of little lines coming up, and then 3 circles. From left to right, a white circle, a red circle, and a black circle. And underneath that thing, you see another. Come on, yeah. Notepad, son of a thing. You see a sign underneath it, and the sign reads, come on, where are my notes? Truciel. That is, I'll put it in here.
I almost spelled it right. Okay, I'm gonna head
And you
on
also
in.
notice as you're walking in, you do happen to see a looks to be one individual, sort of not exactly the most inconspicuous, but sitting there looks to be a dwarven individual, sitting on a small stone, about maybe 10 to 15 yards away.
Okay.
Dagger out, and it looks like he's peeling pieces off an apple, sticking it and eating it. Just every once in a while looks up, looks at the store, goes back to his apple for a couple more bites.
It's gonna run out of apple.
So what did you say you were looking for, Sarah? Some kind of flower?
It's called nightshade.
Oh.
A very special flower. You see, you can use it to make poison.
Oh.
There are a couple of others. If you see anything that says arsenic, apple seeds could also do.
Okay, I'll let you know if I see it.
Rat poison as well. We might have some of that on the ship though. But you know, dearie, just anything with the skull and crossbones on the label, and you can just show me. Don't worry.
I think I might just like you.
So you're heading
Snow
in?
Moon's alignment. I just want to know Snow Moon's alignment.
Chaotic, lawful, neutral. Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Chaotic lawful, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in. Watch your tail.
So you head in and you see there is looks to be a rather sort of gangly looking individual from what you can tell behind the counter.
Okay.
Very sort of flowing black, like charcoal blackish gray robes. A little bit of some sort of a cinch around the middle. As you're looking, the first thing that hits both your mind as you walk in is this individual has got their back to you as you walk in. It's a very small storefront. Is malnourished. The entire person just looks very frail, very thin. So you can see the arm comes up and this long flowing sleeves down and then reaches up, puts something onto a shelf and then back down and doesn't even turn around. May I help you?
Yes, hello. Down here.
It turns, it looks down at you. I've told you before, I have not done anything wrong. Leave me alone.
Oh, no, I'm new.
It can't be. You're one of them.
Oh, I'm a halfling, darling, not the fellow outside.
Yes, I know. You must be with them. All of you shorter ones are.
I'm just here to find a couple of things, dearie. If you could just point me to your nightshade.
I don't carry anything like that. You know that.
I don't.
It sort of gets a very funny look on his face. Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
Okay, let's see what Granny got. Yes. Okay, that is a 22.
He rolled a 2 on the die. As he's looking down at you. I am sorry, my dear. You must forgive me. You must be new in this town. Most merchants of my behavioral pattern will not deal with people under 5 feet. It's a rather militant group here of the guard. They call themselves the Eyes Down Here Brigade. It's made up of halflings, dwarves, and gnomes, and they fancy themselves guards of a sort, but really are nothing more than snitches and bullies, but...
Well, I assure you that we have no relation to this party that you're speaking of, so...
Oh, of course you don't. They wouldn't even look at you. You're twice one of them.
Well, yes, but we walked into the shop together.
Very well. So you're looking for the flower itself, dear. Are you looking for something a little more pointed?
Oh, the flower itself, an extract, anything more pointed. If you have the antidote as well, I'll take that too.
I don't deal in antidotes for these things. And he watches, he sort of shuffles back, and again, just very, very slowly, but almost unearthly movement. As he turns and almost seems to glide. But you don't see that normal gait that you expect from somebody walking. Okay. He makes his way over to the other side of his till, reaches down, and you hear a couple of locks clicking. And he comes over and sets a very small little wooden box down on the counter. Opens it up. I have a couple of things that we are known for here. It's unfortunately nightshade does not grow around this island.
Oh.
But I have a couple of other items that I have some friends. If asked for certain plants, they send people my way.
Of course.
So first, and he reaches out and pulls out a small vial, and it looks almost like blood. As he takes it and sort of tips it and shakes it a little bit. Well, this one is an ingestible. It's not overly strong, but is surprisingly effective if you're looking for, one of the middle cheating husband, annoying neighbor, small dog, things of that nature.
Oh.
Sets it down on the account. That is
Dog!
150 gold. This one is a little bit more, I guess I'll say, intentional. Pulls it out, and this one is difficult to come by, and he holds up a vial, and it's a deep violet, almost black. This is something that is made by the Dark Elves. You very rarely see it above ground. It is, rather than ingested, if you coat a blade or arrow with it and injure the person, it will set them unconscious. Or if they are strong-willed enough, it may just weaken them a bit, but as I said, it's very difficult to come by. This is 400 gold. I have, mind you, I have a couple of each of these, depending on what you're looking for. And it sort of gives the two of you ones up and down. I don't know if this will be to your interest, but I will show this as the prize of my collection. And he pulls out a almost a shimmering pinkish purple liquid.
Okay.
And sets it down. This is a poison that is harvested from an extremely recently deceased or incapacitated large worm. This has been known to kill even some guards, but again, given it must be harvested by a skilled individual from a large worm, it is extremely difficult to come by, and just 3,000 gold
Oh.
for this small tincture.
Well, I do.
We also, I don't, pulls out this, and I have this, doesn't sound like what you're looking for, but is a basic truth serum. If you manage to get someone to take it and they don't notice it, they cannot speak a lie for an hour.
Oh.
This is only 100 gold.
Of course.
But looking for Nightshade, I don't assume this is really your thing. And sort of
Not at the moment.
tucks it
no.
away.
Well, I do think I've come to a decision, but let me just check. Oh. Oh my. Oh. She's gonna look at Snow Moon for a second. Oh no, I do believe I left my coin purse on the ship.
I do have mine. I could pay for what you're looking for.
Oh no, I couldn't do that to you. Are you hungry, by the way? And she's gonna pull out one of the potato scones.
No, I'm fine.
You sure?
Yes,
She's
I'm
gonna
fine.
look at the clerk.
He looks down and looks over. No, thank you. I am well.
Aw. Such a thin little thing. Gonna put it back.
I could use my gold pieces if you really want something here. It really makes no difference to me.
No, we save your money. Save your money. We can go to the other shops. I don't want to waste all of your coin.
Very well.
And he'll start.
If you change your mind, you know where to find us.
Of course, of course.
And starts digging them out, putting again it right in reverse order, putting the most expensive one back, and starts putting them back up. Closes it and starts to head back over.
Come along, Snow Moon, unless you find something you need here.
No, he'll just follow.
As you start heading back out again, he just sort of drifts back over and goes back to working at the working with his stock on the back wall.
Okay. When I leave, is the guard still outside?
As you look over, the dwarf is still sitting there. Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna ruffle my hair a bit. Skew the glasses. Gonna just ruffle up the buttons. Gonna start walking over to him.
Okay. As he sees you walking over, it glances up at you, but just goes back to his apple, waiting for you to approach and see what you're gonna say.
Excuse me, I'm I'm very sorry for disturbing you like this, but I do think I need your help.
I suppose. What you want?
Well, you see, that shop I went into, I thought they would carry the flowers I was looking for, but I do think the shopkeeper instead tried to pass unsavory items my way, and I don't know what to do with myself.
But he just sort of looks at. We've been here trying to catch somebody purchasing a said item, but to see if he does in fact have said product. Every time we go and raid his store, he seems to have it hidden somewhere that we cannot find.
Oh my. Well, you see, is there any way we could help, or do you think we could perhaps create a sting of some sort? I don't want to be a bother. I know you're a very, very busy man. I don't know. Oh, I saw children down this way playing a few rows back.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check with advantage.
Okay.
Granny gonna make a sting operation.
That's a natural 20, and with my persuasion, that is +4, so 24.
Okay, I'm not even going to roll because he can't match that. As he looks up,
See, if you can purchase an item from him and give it and show that you've obtained it from him to us here, we can take care of him and get you your money back from him, but unfortunately, we don't get paid much, and I only have 17 gold on me.
Of course. I'll tell you what. Perhaps in an hour, just so he doesn't recognize me. It would be strange me going again, coming back, going again. And he is suspicious of me for, reasons of stature. But my fellow over there, and I'm gonna point to Snow Moon, darling boy, I'm going to treat him, and then perhaps when coin is still available, we rendezvous back here, perhaps?
We typically have at least one of us here, as long as he's in the shop, so he'll be open till just after sundown.
Of course. All the dastardly things they do at night in the city.
Don't get too bad out on the streets. Just don't head into any of the sewers of the underground systems. That's where most of them hang out.
Of course, of course. And get a glance at the apple it's eating. Are you hungry? That's not very filling, is it? No, it is not. No, it is not. And get pull out a potato scone.
He's a, I wouldn't say no to that. That smells pretty good.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna hand it to him. Just do be careful. It's very pungent.
Takes a bite out of it and seems to like it. Is it? You want to take a bite of that and tastes around, looks at the apple, looks at that. Sort of tries to like double hold one, cut a little piece of the apple off, put it on top, try both.
They're very good, Alamo.
That's it. Now he's just eating. He keeps shoving it in his mouth. So.
Anyway, I won't blow your cover any longer. This way, Snow Moon.
Yes. I'll follow again.
Oh, okay.
And as we're starting to walk back, what exactly is your plan here? Do you think he has something and he's not telling you about it, or?
Oh no, dearie. I just don't like paying for things that I'm able to get for free.
Ah. Okay.
Besides, death should be free. Anyway, what shop would you like to go to? We have an hour to kill.
What else is around? And I'll take a look around, I guess.
Okay, go ahead and make a perception check.
Okay. 12.
Okay. As you're looking around, you don't see a whole lot in this. So you see a couple of looks to be like small. I'll call them clothing stores, but things where you might find like cloaks, overcoats, jackets. You see a couple of stores selling like general purpose equipment. As you're seeing the people walking around the town, you're seeing a decent number of farmers and miners. In the window of the shop, you're seeing things like pitchforks, pickaxes. Looks like a more, I guess I'll say like a worker's life type store.
Mm-hmm.
You do see a couple of places that seem to be selling food, but nothing really interesting in this stretch right here.
Yes, nothing that really interests me too much. We could just walk around a bit.
Of course. It's always good.
Okay, with that, we will jump over to Furia, Lydia, and Artemis. We're off on Lydia's search for the tourist booth. So as Lydia takes off and Furia and Artemis, as you two sort of following with behind her, you definitely get the sensation of sort of, I guess I'll say, spiral searching almost inward. As it seems like Lydia is sort of taking that sort of clockwork spiral looking for people, and eventually after about 20-25 minutes or so, a couple of people start mentioning an inn in the area of the market, that the innkeeper is a person who tends to tell tales, local legends, rumors, things of that nature, which Lydia, sort of piques your interest, Lydia, is someone who may be able to give you an idea of why somebody would think there's something out in the middle of this section where there is nothing on the map.
Okay. And what's the name of the inn? Does it have a name yet?
Does not have a name yet.
Okay.
That's in the market ward. So let's see here. Name of our inn. Okay. The name of our inn is the Kafana.
Kafana. Can you spell that?
Yep.
Oh, crap.
Eventually I'm going to get discovered on where I come up with my names and people are going to smack me for it.
Oh, no. Did you say the barkeep says these local legends or just someone there?
No, the innkeeper.
Okay. We're the inn. Okay. Sorry.
Oh,
Alright, so I'll head there.
Oh, okay. Again, from at the time you get this information, it takes you about another 10 minutes or so to get there.
Okay.
And once you sort of open the door, first thing you notice is it seems to be a little bit slow, but it is fairly early in the morning at this point. As you look in, you see a looks to be a very fair-skinned elvish, looks to be of elvish descent, so you're not sure whether, full, half, or whatnot. Standing behind the bar, just very, almost stoically, just sort of cleaning what looks to be like a wine glass.
Okay.
As he notices you walk in. Oh, hello, it's rather early this morning. How can I help you?
In Elvish, I'll say, "Greetings, my good friend." Because
He sort of
Elvish.
cocks his head a little bit, and then Elvish replies, I haven't heard this. I haven't heard that in years. It's not often I get to practice my mother's tongue.
Yeah, I don't even think my friend knows that I speak Elvish. So I'll switch back to common. So how are you?
Slightly confused at the moment, but beyond that, okay. What brings you into Kafana?
We were just walking around and we heard that you could, tell us some of the local lore of the town and the surrounding areas around here. Not so much of the town, but maybe of the island and the Northwind Strait around here.
I suppose. What exactly are you looking for?
Any legends or tales of war we should know about that you find particularly interesting?
There's a couple of things, I suppose. It's what you said, the strait. There's really not much out on the strait. I suppose it's nothing. I mean, no one really believes it anymore. But there were tales years ago, and I remember when my mother was raising me as a child, what was it, 50, 60 years ago, I think, that people would tell tales that at certain times of year, a massive vortex would appear in between the Northwind Strait and the Sea of Moonshay. Tale tells that it was a doorway to another world. That somewhere on the other side of this vortex was
a matching vortex in another realm. That when this vortex appears, that for those brave enough or foolish enough to sail their ships into the midst of this maelstrom of death, you may find yourself coming out on the other side in a new world.
No idea what world lies on the other side of that maelstrom. Well,
And no, I'm not foolish enough to go sailing into it, should I ever see it.
yeah.
It's one of those where, yes, people love to tell the story, but I've yet to speak with more than one person who claims to be from somewhere other than here.
Well, 3 pints of your finest ale. I'll flip him a gold piece, and we'll sit down and discuss for a few minutes. Thank you, sir.
Looks at the gold piece and, a little bit of a perk in his step. And it walks away for a couple moments and is here. Are you just sitting at the bar?
We'll grab a table over to the side a little.
Okay, sort of comes around with a little tiny, what looks to be almost like a shot glass of a deep burgundy red liquid.
Okay.
In Elvish, he says, "My dear, you asked for the finest. Try this." And he gives you this little tiny to take a sip of to try.
I'll take it in my massive paw and sip it. What does it taste like?
Go ahead and, well, first make a Constitution save.
Oh, okay.
Let's see,
I'm drunk of this. Okay. Let's see. Con save, so that's a 15.
Okay, let me just take a look here. Go to little thing. There we are. Really? Alrighty then.
Okay.
That hasn't happened in an age.
Oh no.
Okay. Well, let me see here. Come on, where is it on my list here? Okay. I have not rolled that high in a long, long time. So, as you're seeing it, immediately it is very strange sensation. As you're looking at this, it's almost, again, it's a sort of deep burgundy liquid. But as you sip it, all you taste is orange. Has a very strong citrus flavor. And as you get that first kick of, literally, it's almost like orange juice type power to this flavor. And all of a sudden you get this honeyed liquor feel in the back of your throat that sort of warms your body on its way down. It's this is the finest beverage I have in here.
Ooh, what's that gonna cost me?
The 1 gold will cover enough for all 3 of you.
Sounds fine.
So as he goes over and gets again, it's basically, think of a rocks glass. It's not a pint. It's probably maybe 6 ounces, if that.
Yeah.
As he pours it for each of you, go ahead and Lydia, roll 4d4
for me.
Okay. 1, 2, 3. My other D4. There we go. Okay. 3, 3, 1, 4. So, whatever that is.
That's 11.
11.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay.
That.
So, not that any of you needed it, but as you're all sipping this, if you had you been injured, you would regain two hit points.
Okay, cool.
But you all get that same, like, a very, like, ooh, orange. And then that sort of, like, literally that, best way I can describe it is if you've ever had honey wine or mead, it's got that sort of throat feel afterwards. So it's almost like an orange blossom mead.
Ooh,
But
that
it has
sounds
this-
delicious.
But it's odd to you that while it's giving you this scent of orange and the mead flavor behind it, it is a deep burgundy color to it.
Mm-hmm.
So as we, enjoy what he brought us, I will say in Elvish to him, "Are there so few elves here that you have not heard anybody speak it in such a long time?"
I'll translate to Artemis on the side. So he doesn't feel left out.
And actually, all three of you would notice this guy hasn't made eye contact with Artemis.
Oh, okay.
It's like you fully know looking, he is fully aware he has sat things in front, but seems to be almost avoiding Artemis. And he looks to Julia, and in Elvish again. No, is sort of gives a half glance down at Artemis. As the most of the small ones have driven the other races away.
They banded together?
Eyes down here is what they call it.
Is he saying that in Elvish or?
Yeah, everything he's saying is in
Okay.
Elvish.
Art's
Is
just taking a swig of whatever is put in front of them.
Art, and you, what's your passive insight?
That's a good question. 15.
Okay, you can tell whatever he's discussing with them, he seems very uncomfortable.
I can assure you that the pink one is not part of any organization that has been set up, or government, or whatever is going on here.
Be that as it may, I would still walk with a modicum of caution. There are those who are not of that stature that will find trusting one such as the pink one you called them difficult. And now it switches back over to common. My apologies to you, diminutive one. Allow me to formally introduce myself. You may call me Glitter.
Sure.
Glitter. Whoa, what a
I
wonderful.
love good.
And as he says this, it takes his hand back, runs it through his hair, and then sort of watches it pulls the hair to the side, and it seems to looks like he keeps it tucked in his shirt, and as it comes out, just sort of shakes his head to the side and hangs down, and within the hair, you can see what look to be small, like almost like little crystal gems and beads.
Furia, you
As he
should do
just
that
sort
to
of
your hair.
shakes the hair out, you can see his light starts to dance through the
Beautiful,
bubbles in his
sir.
hair.
Beautiful.
Well, pleased to meet you, and what a wonderful mane of hair you have. Maybe I shouldn't clip mine. Well, but my name is Artemis. I guess we're here on... They kind of looked at Lydia and Furia. For a visit, I guess.
A vacation, really?
Oh yes, the festival tomorrow. How could I forget? It's just you watch as the eyes sort of roll a little bit.
Yes.
There's something wrong with it?
No, it is just the wealthier families will come down and pass flowers out to us in the less affluent portion.
Ah,
And it is always a busy day, as nothing goes better than with being reminded that you are poorer than your betters than alcohol. We have a rather special brew prepared for tomorrow. And he sort of gestures up at the bar, and you can see behind the bar there's about 5 or 6 rather large bottles of a bluish purple liquid. All it takes is one shot. And you don't worry about your problems for a couple of days.
Be back for that for sure, Glitter. Tomorrow. Sounds dandy.
Oh boy.
Maybe me and Snowmoon will have a drinking contest.
I'm not carrying you home.
And just remember, I have warned, it is very potent.
Have you seen me? Pretty big myself. Snowmoon's pretty big too.
He looks over at you. What might your name be?
I am Lydia. Pleased to meet you, Glitter.
Reaches down, takes your hand, and very gently pulls it out and kisses the back of your hand gently and looks down. How many are with you, Lydia?
4 more are with me. Do you have rooms upstairs? Maybe we could. Do we need rooms, Furia? I have to consult my Furia. Hold on.
So you are her Furia, then?
Oh, no. Just my friend Furia.
my name's Furia.
Yes.
Sometimes Lydia has problems decision making.
Most of the time, maybe. How often do you think I've got problems decision making, Furia?
Often.
Mm.
You're firm on important things, I'll give you that.
Thank you.
Given your, shall we say, your chutzpah, I will put down for you and your 4 compatriots, whoever wishes to attempt it can have their drink on the house.
Fine, fellow, you are Glitter. Alright, me and Snowmoon will definitely be back. At least me and Snowmoon. I'll drag him here. We'll see if Art and Sarah and Furia want to come too, but I'll make sure me and Snowmoon are here.
I'll watch.
Yeah, exactly.
And we will have cots available should they be needed.
Roll us
Oh my.
upstairs.
It'll be a bumpy ride.
Yes. Well, thank you, Glitter. I think that we should get back to our compatriots now. What do you think, Furia and Artemis?
Yeah, it's been some time. Let's see how much trouble they've gotten into.
I know, right? Well, we'll definitely see you tomorrow, Glitter.
Are they... Looks down hard at us. I apologize in advance. Are they your size or are they small folk?
Well, Sarah is small. Snowman, on the other hand, is quite the opposite.
Well, the small one will be fine then. They tend not to go against their own. But the other one, should he step out of line, you will have a hard time finding him.
Thanks
So
for the
be
warning.
careful before you need to come back to have your beverage.
True. True.
And with that, he gives a little bow as you stage your leaving, and he says, "May the forces of evil be confused on their way to find you."
And with you as well.
Yeah, they
No, we-
often are.
He goes back over and starts, and again, as you watch, he starts just cleaning out another glass, sort of cleaning up the table as the three of you are leaving. Now, did you set any sort of a meeting point, or were you just doing your own thing?
Nope.
Okay, so about the time you guys are heading back towards the ship, it's probably been about an hour for Snowmoon and Sarah just sort of wandering around after their initial conversation. So, what would the two of you be doing at this point?
Probably going back to where we saw the other small man to operate our sting.
Oh, okay.
And as we're walking, Sarah, I mean, it's one thing if you're, I can be ruthless in battle against an opponent, but I don't really like this idea of stealing very much.
Well, it's not stealing. It's having someone arrested and then reaping the benefit.
It does seem a bit underhanded to me nonetheless.
I understand. But if you had, say, found the people who supplied the underground trophy room people with whatever it was that trapped that copper dragon, would you not want a little way to take said process out of those people's hands?
Perhaps, but I would rather not use deceit and rather just confront them face to face.
I'm just leveling the playing field a little. If you want, you can go back to the ship. I'll do this on. I don't want to force you into anything you don't want to, dearie. And it's getting late.
Yes, I think I will return to the ship. And he just kind of gives a bow and walks back towards the ship.
And do put a coat on. It's always cold when you're on the coast.
Oh, I have no problem with the cold, he says, and
I just imagine Snowmoon turning around and be like, the cold never bothered me anyway. Like walking up.
Please don't sue us, Disney.
Please, please.
So as Snowmoon starts to walk off and you're heading back over, you do see that diminutive individual is the dwarf is still sitting there, but he is now joined by what looks to be a very stern-faced gnomish woman and a sort of spiky-haired halfling.
Hello.
And when you think spiky hair, think sort of like a cross between Goku and Vegeta, where it's just sort of like up and just out. Looks like looks like he stuck his foot into an electrical outlet. You hear? Yeah. That's the one. So something about a sting trying to help us catch that one.
Now I do suppose that you have. I'm very sorry, dear. I never got your name.
No, I didn't give it. Let's just say you can call me Grumpy.
I was gonna make the joke myself. Well, Grumpy, you can call me Snow.
I see your big friend didn't come back with you.
Oh, he's just a little bit of a, early to bed, early to rise, all that. Plus, I don't need all that muscle.
So, looks over at the other two. This is what I was telling you about. So, what's your plan with this? How you think about making this happen?
Well, I was going to perhaps ask him again for his wares, and if such a thing were to happen, perhaps there could be a call sign, code word of some sort, and then you all come either rushing in from every which way, and we get him.
Okay, so how are you gonna talk to us when you're in there?
Well, you remember the potato scone I gave you? I also will offer him one, though I may need to be a bit sneaky, as I already asked him, but it is closer to dinner time, possibly, so that may work in our favor.
So, what does scone have to do with anything?
Well, I will offer him it as another form of payment, or I can offer him something else. I would just need items, but given he seems wary of people like us, I will go with the first plan.
Okay, but how does that get you to tell us to come in there? That's wonderful that you have an idea to get him to show you the product again, but if you can't tell us to come in...
I could shout the code word. Yes.
If you think it'll work, it's...
I know it will.
Okay, we'll be right here waiting.
Code word will be whippoorwill.
Okay.
Good. Now, stay back. And I'm gonna head over to the apothecary.
Okay. Doesn't take long at all.
Hello again, there, dear.
Again, just sort of. At this point now, is this time you come in, he's just now sitting. You see, sitting at a stool behind the till, just sort of bowed down. Again, still same robe, hood pulled over, hanging down over his face a little bit.
Oh, it's you again. Yes, no. Find your coin purse, did you?
I did, but sadly, I still don't have enough. I was wondering if we could do a trade of some.
How much do you have in coin?
I have about 10 gold pieces to my name.
He sort of grumbles a little bit back and forth and gets up and slides over and go down, and again you hear the as he bends down behind the counter out of view, you hear click click, and then you can hear something opening as he goes in. You hear a click as something closes, and then the two clicks again as you can hear something locking. He says, okay. He'll pull out, and you see he sets 2 small vials down on the counter. Depending on what you have to trade, we have this one. He shows the sort of blood red liquid. This is the ingested poison. And this is the truth serum. With only 10 gold coins, that's realistically the only thing I could think that any sort of a trade would potentially get you near.
I'm
And
gonna.
if you can show me what you have, perhaps.
I'm gonna go over to the till. I'm gonna empty out my purse. I'm gonna put the coin purse. I'm gonna put 2 potato scones and a cinnamon cookie.
Go ahead and make a persuasion check.
I would like to use my nat 20.
Well done.
Alrighty then. Okay, so with let me jump over here real quick because we got to. Oh, that was on the other screen, so I didn't even have it on the screen, so I don't have to pull it off. So the nat 20 is gone on a persuasion check to pay 10 gold, 2 scones, and a cookie for some poison. On a check that the shopkeeper rolled a 2 on. So as he looks over and goes, that does smell rather good, and can always mark up the others later.
And it is so close to dinner time.
Reaches over and reaches down behind the counter, pulls out what looks to be almost a little coin purse. It's tiny. You looking at it, you know it'll barely hold the 2 vials that he's got. Opens it up. And you watch as he just drops the vials in, pulls the bag tight, and hands it to you.
Okay. Is the other stuff still on the counter, like the 2?
He did not pull it back out. He went down under the counter, pulled out those 2 vials.
Okay.
But so you heard him get down. You heard something unlock. Then you heard it lock again, and he came back and set these down. Based on where you said you only wanted to trade, he only pulled out basically the cheap stuff.
Okay. Is it like a back room or just like the counter itself?
No, it's right behind the counter. Whatever he's doing, it's literally on the ground right there. Or right behind the same sort of, I guess I'll say the shelf or the bar, whatever you want to call it, the counter.
Okay. My dear, if I may ask, what are you doing? I'm not as magically inclined. Are you doing some sort of hocus pocus where you pull it from a bag of holding?
But as he looks at you, you catch the very slightest hint of a grin.
And then he just sort of shakes his head a little bit. Trade secrets, my dear. It's why they haven't been able to prove anything.
I can keep a secret, darling.
They can't find anything because there is nothing to find.
So I didn't mean to do anything. Sorry.
That's okay. I did not do anything either.
Okay, sorry.
So you're
And
saying...
as he says that, he gestures to. So the countertop comes out of one side of the wall, but there's a space over to the side. He sort of gestures to you to come around to the side.
Okay, I come around to the side.
He reaches down and goes into. Basically, takes his arms and reaches into the sleeves, and pulls out what look to be two small, little white things. Reaches down, inserts them into drawers, and you hear the two clicks as he then proceeds to pull open a drawer, and the drawer is empty.
And you've shown me an empty drawer.
Exactly, but see, closes the drawer, and you hear the two clicks again. And then as he reaches his hands back out to the drawer, then pulls them back, inserts them again, clicks, and pulls it open. And now you see a small box sitting within.
You know, that reminds me of something. There's a way to call prey for birds. And my husband used to do it, but only for the whippoorwills. I'm gonna say that with a slight louder tone of voice.
Okay. So as you said, yeah, let's see. Okay. So they definitely hear. So do me a favor, I'm going to have you roll for your 3 co-conspirators. So do me a favor, roll
Okay.
3d20 for me.
I have 3 d20s.
So we're going to see what happens here and what... Ooh, that's going to be a tough one.
So we have a 5, a 14,
Okay.
and a 20.
Okay. And then do me a favor, roll 1 for yourself as well.
Okay.
And or I should say roll initiative for yourself.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
well, it's not combat. This is just all of this is happening right at the same time.
10.
Okay, so we have. I'll call it. Why am I writing
Brad?
this on an Xbox controller? Then we will call this. So your initiative is 10. Okay. So I just check what his modifier is, because with that 20, that's going to matter.
Sorry, folks.
Okay.
Granny's doing Ocean's 11.
Okay, so we're going to go here, and where's my... Hold on, folks. Really? Give me the right spot, you hideous git. There we are. Okay. Okay, so okay, so that is a 20, that is a 20 as well. So as you start, as you're watching this, as you say that out, and again, you hear the heavy foot stomps. As this individual, actually, let's see if he notices in advance. Okay, yeah, that's a 17 on the die. So he starts hearing something charging towards the door. You watch as he turns very quickly, glances at you, and you watch as his face goes, and literally a flicker of confusion, then blank, then literally you watch as the eyes almost glow red with rage. And as you watch as for the first time his hand actually comes out of the robe and he touches the drawer, and you watch as the interior of the drawer vanishes. And he turns to look at you. You are not what you seem to be. And takes a couple of steps back, leaving the drawer open. And then with a half smile, but lucky for me, neither am I. And then just steps back and waits. As the next couple of seconds, you see Grumpy and the spiky-haired halfling. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Spiky-haired halfling was normal. So the two of them come start charging. Stop! I hear you selling things in here. Where are the goods? He starts looking around, and the old man's in the background. I'm not doing anything. I did nothing wrong. And two of them come walking forward and looking around. Eventually, a couple seconds later, the gnomish woman comes in. Is there anything you'd be doing as these three are now making their way in?
Am I able to get the rocks back or some sort of cookie?
Wait, what are you trying to do?
Would I be able to get the stones back from him, or is he already like gone?
Oh, oh, you mean the two white things you used to unlock it?
Yeah.
You can try to make a sleight of hand check.
Okay, let's see if Granny can do this. It's gonna be that's gonna be a 9.
Okay. So let me see what his passive is. Now, so as you go to reach in, as you watch, there's like you could see that he had them in his hand as he stood up and started to back. He didn't really back all that far away from you. He only took a couple of steps back, but you watched as his arms crossed again and came back out like this. Now, basically expecting, Popo's here, I'm going to be standing back here. They're already harassing me already. So you go and slide one of your hands in to try to, and you manage to get one out of the two of them. As you're reaching for the second, though, he does notice and grabs onto your wrist. And then just sort of pushes your hand away.
I'm gonna just make sure that white thing is not able to be taken from me.
Are you looking at the one you grabbed?
Yeah.
Looks to be a finger bone.
Cool. Awesome.
Preferably that, so looking at your hand, it's that first, long bit.
Mm-hmm.
About this time, the three of them come in. The Grumpy comes over and basically, not too gently, sort of pushes past you, right up in this guy, sort of hands on either side of him, up against the back. How you hear a couple of things, a couple of glass bottles fall over on the shelves. Doesn't sound like anything's breaking, but it's definitely a little aggressive towards your friend here. So, okay, we actually got reports now. I hear we're going to have some proof for the first time, so why don't you just save us all a little trouble and give us the goods? He's just said again the same the whole time, just hands up. I haven't done anything, as I keep telling you every time you raid my store. The other two, the halfling and the gnomish one, are just going through, and they're rummaging through. They're pulling things out of shelves. They're looking everywhere to see what they can find. Anything you'd be doing as they're rummaging around?
Am I able to give Grumpy or at least show Grumpy the bone?
Oh yeah, you can. Easy enough. He's right next to you.
You can frisk him and find the other one.
He calls over the other one, and they start going through. He's searching for stuff, and sure enough, they do eventually come out with a second small bone.
May I?
Grumpy sort of looks at it and goes, I don't want to hold this. Nasty. Hands it over to you.
I'm gonna click them together.
As you're cleaning them, it doesn't seem to be doing anything. As you're doing that, the driver just no, those are keys. See the two holes on the drawer. If you insert them in, you can close the drawer and turn them. You'll hear the dual click, and it will lock the drawer shut. If you then turn them back, it will unlock, and you can open the drawer.
Can I roll an insight check on that?
Certainly.
I don't. That's gonna be 14 plus 8. It's gonna be a 22.
He actually seems to be being truthful with you.
Okay.
As you're, he looks over at Grumpy, and again, as you're looking at him, as you're trying to read whether or not he's being straight with you, you can see the very sort of hollow, sunken face as he reaches in again, does that same move where his arms going into his sleeves. This time you watch as it seems the sleeves are catching, and he's pushing them back towards his elbows. As he gets the sleeves back to his elbows, he looks over and says, "But if you would, I'd rather like them back sooner rather than later so I can put them back." And holds up two hands, neither hand having an index finger.
I'm gonna try the drawer first. And then we'll talk about giving him his finger back.
So as it says right now, the drawer is open.
Okay. I'm gonna try to do the number he showed me.
Okay, so as you put them in, close it, lock it, unlock it, open it again. Still just an empty drawer. As he watches you, as you're sort of, you can sort of tell you're getting a little flustered. She looks down. Are you not finding something you're looking for, dear?
Perhaps. I'm gonna give him. I'm gonna give the fingers to Grumpy.
As he headed back on to Grumpy, he said, "Oh, there ain't help." Just holds him up, and you watch as he just sort of takes his hands and just sort of waves them in front of Grumpy where he's holding the bones, as they almost seem to get pulled back onto his hands.
Say, Ritachi so goes. This has been an amusing day. Are we done here? You can see Grumpy sort of turns over it and gives you a sideways look. So you got nothing to show us. No proof that he gave you nothing.
I do.
I'm waiting.
I'll go into my. I'll go into the little pouch he gave me and give them one of the vials.
Okay, as you open the pouch and look, looks to be empty.
What?
As you look down, it's just a little tiny black space. You don't see anything in it.
Taking all my stuff off of the counter.
We had a bargain.
We did.
He's gonna hex you
did
so
not-
bad right now. Oh my god.
I didn't get anything. I have no idea what you're talking about.
As you say that, you hear the gnomish woman in the background. Well, Grumpy, it seems like another waste of a day because of you. We are leaving. And her and the halfling start to walk out. Grumpy just starts growling it. As Grumpy goes to start moving his hands back, the shopkeeper looks over at you. I would recommend you leave with your friends. You are no longer welcome in my establishment.
Can I go leave?
And as Grumpy starts walking away, anything you'd be doing as you're following him out?
You're right on the door in Thieves' Cant, like whatever symbol means poison and
I'm sorry, in Thieves Can't what?
whatever like word or symbol. I don't know if Thieves' Cant is like letters or symbols,
A little
but
bit of
whatever
everything.
whatever means poison and rob.
Alrighty then. Easy enough to do. And as you're sort of scratching this on the doorpost real quick, as you're looking in, you watch as the face sinks in further, almost taking on a skeletal appearance.
Uh-huh.
And in your mind, you hear, "We will meet again. Enjoy your gifts in the pouch. You must reach in and concentrate on which one to draw out. Similar to a bag of holding, but will only hold about 4 or 5 small lampules. Consider it a loan you will repay."
Uh-huh.
And with that, we will call an end to tonight's session.
Oh, not getting into trouble, huh? Upset a lich or something.
So
Oh
with
my
that,
God.
before we disappear for this evening, thank you very much for everyone who's been hanging out with us in chat. I've seen Lieutenant Murphy. I've seen,
Yeah, we got a
Michael
sub
in
from
there.
Lieutenant Murphy.
Oh, thank you,
Yeah.
Lieutenant Murphy. We love you.
Thank you for joining with us and hanging out with us. Before we disappear, though, because I keep forgetting to do this on stream, I want to make sure we do it this time, is we need to award our Nat 20 for next time.
Yes.
So we finally got Sarah was able to use hers this evening to convince a shopkeeper to give her a vial of assassin's blood and a vial of truth serum. As she attempted to rob him. And thanks to some tricks of his that he's learned to keep himself from getting arrested, didn't quite go the way Sarah was hoping, but he let her keep the little pouch as well as a couple of vials of poison. We also have Lydia, Furia, and Artemis exploring, looking for basically a guide to give them tips on the area and local legends. They heard about a drink for tomorrow after the festivities tomorrow morning, as people want to forget all of this. What does everyone think? And do we have any votes in Lieutenant Murphy and Chad? Do you have a vote for a Nat 20 for next time?
Yeah, Snowmoon didn't get to use his either.
Yeah. After
Oh, that's right. I
stream,
forgot.
I got one last week, but I didn't even have I had one roll the whole session, so I didn't.
Yeah, I'm just saying we're going to let Snowmoon hold on to
that.
his for next week, as we did the same for Sarah when
Yeah.
that. So we'll let Snowmoon let his ride for next week, because it was a very sort of RP heavy evening as you guys are making your way here towards the next sort of in between destination here. So, anyone got anything they want to call out, or?
Sarah said something. I don't remember what it was.
I kind of remember something too, but.
I should have written it down. I knew it.
Okay.
I said something. I was just gonna say that Snowmoon should keep his, but
Okay, we can run with just one for next week if that's what the party wants.
Yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Lieutenant?
Yeah.
So we are going to. Whoops, that is locked for some reason. Come on.
Lieutenant says that Lydia might need it next week.
Perhaps
that
my
too.
constitution save.
Yeah.
Against
Okay.
Snowmoon. Oh, I'm
Yeah,
done.
that's a good
Snowmoon.
point, because you got
Turned.
Snowmoon into that too.
Okay, but if both of them use their nat 20.
Yeah,
He
but
doesn't
if someone
know-
uses
he
me,
doesn't know
I'm...
anything about this yet.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will run with. We got a vote from the party to let Snowmoon keep his. We got Lieutenant Murphy saying Lydia's going to need it for next week, so we will give it to the two of them for next time.
Yeah,
Lieutenant
big one.
Murphy?
So thank you very much for hanging with us, Lieutenant Murphy. We will be back next week to celebrate Greengrass in the city of Seawolf. And then it is off to wherever our party decides next. Whether they are go looking for a maelstrom south of the Northwind Strait, they know of Dragon's Home. There are all sorts of things open for them, and they have a bloody boat, so they could go just about anywhere they choose to. So tune in next time, and don't forget, when trying to rob a shopkeep that sells various black market goods, you may want to first find out whether or not it's potentially a high-level magic user. And second, don't forget to add your proficiency bonus. We'll be back next time, folks.